you ready to catapult your team to new heights? Do you need to lock on to problems and splash them with ease? Then stand by to recover your sanity and take your team to the next level with this week's mission from Locked On Leaders with Mission Commander Dave Rosenberg.
Welcome to mission number 6 for the Locked On Leader. I'm Dave Rosenberg, continuing on our mission to replace thank God it's Friday with thank God it's Monday. Today, I want to discuss soft skills as it relates to interviewing and acquiring your elite team. So, soft skills are those sort of intangible skills that are not objectively easy to measure. Now, let's juxtapose that against hard skills, which is another thing most of the time we need to look at when we're interviewing. Although hard skills are the last unless it's a really sophisticated position you're looking for. So for example, if you're looking for an engineer or a software coder, there's some definitive hard skills they need to have, at least a minimum level. Soft skills, on the other hand, are much, much more difficult to find. Soft skills are things like how well they relate to customers, or teamwork, or how they get along with people. There's ability to command or lead. Those are soft skills, right? They exist. We know them when we see them. We certainly know when they're not there. But you really are challenged to objectively measure them. So the best way to come up and determine somebody's soft skills is actually through assessments developed by professionals who know how to create such things. And certainly if you can do that, I highly recommend that you actually use assessments. And I've talked about this in other vlogs as well. As you can tell, a big believer in assessments because it gives you that separation, that step away. It takes your emotion out a little bit, and we all make decisions emotionally. Every one of us, every decision, it's been proven scientifically, they're all emotional. But the more you can separate yourself from that, probably the better it's going to be. But let's assume for a second that you don't have the ability to do actual assessments, right? They're not super expensive, but not everybody wants to or can do them. So how do we test for soft skills? The best way I have found to test for soft skills is using scenarios, where you create a scenario and you give it to them, the candidate, that shows a conflict. And it's not real obvious what the answer is. And I'll give you a perfect example. I have a client who is a IT service provider. They're a managed service provider. They get paid a monthly payment to provide IT support for companies. So they're an outsourced IT company. And here's a scenario we developed to see if for customer service. And it goes like this. It's 5 minutes before closing. Your phone rings, and it's one of our best customers on the phone. And you answer the phone, and they tell you that they have a new employee starting tomorrow, and although they should have let us know the week before, they completely forgot, and they need a new computer set up. Now, most of the time, this can be done remotely. However, in this particular instance, you know you need to drive down to set it up. It's going to take about a half hour, if everything goes right, to get the new computer set up. But it's 5 minutes before closing, and you've been told there's no unauthorized overtime. The manager's not around. Nobody's available. You try and get hold of them, so there's no one who can authorize this overtime. If things don't go well, this could take an hour or more, and the client is about a half hour away from you. What do you do? Now, inherent in that question is, are you a rules follower? You've been told no unauthorized overtime. Or are you going to say to yourself, I need to take care of the customer first? Or are you going to come up with a more creative solution that might meet both criteria? For example, I've had people say to me, well, first thing I'm going to do is ask the customer, what time do you need to have this computer up and running by? Because they understand that most new people don't sit down and start the computer first thing in the morning. And if they ask us that question, we're going to come back and say to them, oh, well, by the time they get done with HR and their initial in-dock and briefing and all the rest of this stuff, it's probably going to be the afternoon before they need their computer. In which case, I expect to hear, oh, would it be okay if I was there at 8 o'clock in the morning, first thing in the morning, to get this taken care of, right? That's a win-win solution that is customer-focused. Sometimes, depending on how we feel about this particular customer, or this particular candidate, I should say, we'll throw them a curveball. We'll say, no, we've already handled all the HR in-dock. They need to be ready to work first thing in the morning. And what I want to hear from this candidate under those circumstances is, well, then it's going to be overtime. You're outside of our normal hours. However, I'm happy to get in my car and come down and get that taken care of if you think somebody will be there. Otherwise, I can be there early tomorrow morning. Right? Something that shows the customer comes first. And when they do that, that tells me that their customer experience soft skill is good, is high. That's it for now. As always, if you have any questions or comments about this or any other leadership issue, please feel free to post them below. Don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and you can visit my website, www.lockedonleadership.com. Feel free to share this with your friends. I'm Dave Rosenberg. I want you to be a locked on leader.